podcast with Wynn Williams. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for taking time out, and thanks for coming to the Stockyards for Stocktoberfest.
Yeah, that was fun. I don't get many nights out during the week because whenever I'm home, man, I'm a bit of a homebody. So we made a date night out of it, and we had a lot of fun down there.
Oh, that's great to hear. It is great when all the artists get to talk to each other, especially if they don't know each other, but they know each other's music and they're like
Right.
fans themselves. Which it's always fun to when you see that connection of because like normally everybody's on tour, prepping for
Yeah.
the weekend and everything, doing the road warrior stuff, and it's just nice to have everybody get to relax and have some drinks, introduce significant others and whatnot, and it's evolved to a I want to say a big thing, which it might not be, but for a guy that started at TikTok in Delaware, it's it's wild that
Yeah.
it's become a thing. And I mean we did it a couple years in a row around the same time, so like be cool to have like a tradition of just have an artist be able to break bread and bang some glasses together.
Yeah, man. Totally. We, like you said, we don't get to do that as often as you would think. Of course, everybody has different schedules and are in different places all the time. But like even whenever we're playing with somebody, uh, you don't always get the time to really catch up. So it was good to see a bunch of folks I hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah. And dude, when when you got on stage, your stage presence is really good. Like when you
Oh,
got up
thank
and,
you.
and the way just your behaviors and everything, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna make some fans because I had some people come up after and they're like, who was that? And I was like, oh, it was Wynn Williams, and they're like, dude, that was good. I was like, yeah, because the
Oh
stage
well,
presence was like spot on. And because it was a little chaotic. I was running around
sure.
trying to find people, like,
Yeah, yeah.
and then some people were like, I've had too many. I've had too many beverages. It's skip over me, and I'm like, back to the bucket.
Oh my gosh, that's funny, man. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's funny that you say that because my wife, she was very quick to tell me you didn't even introduce yourself. I just like walked up there. I think because you introduced me, and I thought, okay, well, I don't need to say my name again. But anyway, she was like, hey, you didn't say your name at all. You just played your songs and you got off stage, and I was like, oh well, yeah, I probably should have said my name at least once, or you know any of that. But it
Yeah.
was a lot of fun, man. Getting to do stuff like that, and like of course we had Jerry up there, and I hadn't met the piano player. Do you remember the piano player's name?
Uh,
He's
Drew Herrickle. Yeah.
Drew. I have not met Drew before, but get to see Jerry and play with Drew was a lot of fun. We don't get to do that very often, so
Yeah.
it's just like a little trio thing. Um, and the beautiful thing about music is it's all, it's like this funny language that musicians speak, and like I didn't even tell them what key we were playing in or anything like that. They just picked it right up and just played along. So it was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Dude, I I even said Jerry's name wrong. I felt terrible because I asked Drew. I was like, "What's his name?" And I heard something totally different. But man, when he started playing, and I was like, "Man, it's amazing." And Drew is not only one of the most kindest people I've ever met. He's phenomenal when he can just hear it and just do these like runs and just
Yeah.
a polish. They were just polishing songs on the spot, and it was like it sounded like you guys had been jamming for a very long time together, and that was
Yeah.
a really cool thing that was happening. I
Yeah.
I, I enjoyed that because the fiddle is like one of my like new like best friends of just how emotive it is and how it can just change the mood of a song. It's
Yeah.
it's a very cool instrument.
Absolutely.
that just for how small it is and how small I'm going to say fretboard or whatever they call it. It just all
Yeah.
those sounds that can come from there and the vibrato and just and like the cool stuff like what's your song? It's yeah, buddy. Where the guitar and the fiddle are like mixing and matching. That is like one
Yeah,
of my
yeah.
favorite things. The bass line on that song, I was just like,
It's pretty moving.
yeah, dude. I was like, man, I wonder if he plays this live because that'd be a song where like, I'm not saying I don't always watch the bass player, but a lot of times people don't particularly, focus on the bass. But that song,
Yep.
I would be 100% bass of just how incredible that thumping groove is. I really liked it, and the deep voice following is such a great accent. I really like that song.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it, man.
Yeah, and with your sound, do you have like was there an artist you first listened to, and you're like, man, I want my albums to have like that magic, just that type of
Well,
sound.
like I don't know if there's like one specific artist, but well, I mean, kind of there. I guess there is, and I've got a lot of influences, but I grew up listening to like '90s, early 2000s stuff. So like very much George Strait and Brooks and Dunn and a little bit of Garth and Alan Jackson, and then of course you got Kenny and Tim and Travis Tritt, all these guys that kind of like came from what I call the golden era of country music. The '90s and the early 2000s were like on fire for country music. Um, but also, as a young kid, my dad was listening to like Glenn Campbell and Don Williams and like even Merle Haggard and stuff like that. I was definitely more like the top 40 kind of guy, rather than like the old outlaw type stuff. But those influences still lie really profoundly in my music. Um, that's kind of why you have a little bit more of that modern sound, but still with like really traditional roots. Um, so you have the four on the floor walking bass line type thing, but then you also kind of have like in my new album, you got really traditional country music that implements that fiddle and steel and piano and all those instruments that I grew up listening to on a lot of records. Um, but I can say too, the artist that actually like really inspired me to start like really getting into music is a guy named Josh Turner. He's got like a super super deep voice. He sings a song, "Your Man," "Baby Lock the Door and Turn the Lights Down Low." He's got that song, big hit song, which Chris Stapleton wrote, by the way,
Huh.
which is an interesting thing to maybe hear Chris Stapleton sing that song. But Josh Turner was a guy that I really resonated with because whenever I was in, my voice did not change until I was in 10th grade. And so I was in choir in high school, and ninth grade, I was a tenor. I kind of had a high pitched voice. And then uh, my sophomore year of high school, my voice changed. And all of a sudden, I could hit some of these low notes like Josh Turner. Um, so it was an interesting dynamic going from like, loving on Kenny and like Rascal Flats in their heyday and all that kind of stuff. And then going to Josh, being able to hit some of those notes. Uh, Josh Turner was like a huge influence on me in high school. Um, and I sang in my talent show in high school, and it was a Josh Turner song. And then, I went on to sing at Texas FFA state finals, or state convention, for like 13,000 people. And I was singing Josh Turner, and so like, I would probably say that he might have like the single biggest influence on me, like just personally, maybe. But in terms of musicality and lyrically speaking, Josh obviously has great songs, great records. But a lot of it comes from that like like I said, 90s, early 2000s stuff where the songs were just impeccably written. Um, and on my new album, a lot of those writers are a part of that album because we went around and we got those songs from publishers. Instead of me, spending a lot of time writing the whole record, we went around and we got those songs from songwriters, and those songs maybe were sitting on the shelf for a long, long time, and they finally got to see the light of day. So, that era is definitely like where I land for sure. But in terms of artists specifically, there's just so many that I pull from, man, for inspiration.
Yeah. I
That was a long-winded answer to
dude,
to
I,
your
like
question.
I'm just glad I knew who Josh Turner was or is. Because normally people say stuff and I'm like, they'll say a name and I'm like, man, there's just so many great artists I
Right.
still haven't heard. But yeah, I
It's
do know
really
his
cool
voice.
too. It's really cool too, man, to have somebody like that. Like Josh Turner is like one of my musical heroes, and now we've gotten to open for him like 4 or 5 times, and so those full circle moments are really, really cool. Uh, so here I am today, manifesting maybe one day opening for George Strait.
That's like the Super Bowl.
I
Be
would
able,
say that's probably the Super Bowl. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's funny if I've realized like doing the podcast and all like if you just say something negative about George Strait, just the crowd, the masses are pitchforked up and the torches and because when you do like I like his music, I like his sound, and I like it's very polished and it's not forced. It's just very easy listening to. But when on the artist side and personality side, when you Google him, you don't see like any drama, any
Yeah.
there's just he's not in TMZ for like speculation and all that controversies and
Right.
so that's I mean that's kind of rare to see. So that side I get it and yeah, it's when people say that's why we call him the king. I'm like okay, it's and I get it and because I like I don't have all these like memories attached to a lot of these
Sure.
artists and I do get where people come from because especially like I never used music as like therapy or make me feel some certain way because like man I was listening to your music I was like man if you just broke up with someone that you really loved I can see a lot of people being mad at you just how some of your songs are so beautiful and you just be sitting there going like I want that you
Yeah.
know and I say that like that but I feel that's a great experience for a listener to listen to some of your songs and just like to see that's what they want and I did that. I was like, man,
Yeah.
I was like, that's a beautiful song, and with the mix being as pristine as it is, and what I really like is like when you're saying like those old '90s and 2000s, the chime on those guitars. I'm like,
Mm.
how can they not do that? Like one of my like guilty pleasures is like Joe Diffie songs, and like
Hmm.
that it's so crystal clear. It has like I don't
Yep.
know, you can just like hear it, see it, and but man, that like compressed chime clean tone, I felt like got lost, and there's a lot of that on your music too that I really liked. I wish people would bring that sound back more. I just because I've learned to love like the country runs and stuff like
Yeah.
that, where it can be like shreddy, but not distorted, and the
Right.
clarity, yeah, the clarity and the delivery is man, it's really hard to play country guitar. I've really, really learned that, and I've really loved how like my playing's gotten better, and I
Yeah.
I get to hear better lyrical content, and it's like you're like having a conversation with the artist when the songs have like a depth and meaning,
Right.
and it's been really, really enjoying that experience of just having that, and just like I said, listen to your music. Where
Well,
this,
thank you. I appreciate it, man. Country music is just kind of that way. I feel like inherently, it's pretty just like real and raw, and it's relatable because it's like just the truth. It's
yeah,
it's not anything like nobody's like trying to make any. I mean, I say that nobody's trying to make anything up, but Nashville has a habit of making a bunch of crap up that it worked for a long time, and
yeah,
now it seems like music, like mine, I'll say like mine, or
hmm,
like the Randall Kings, or um, Braxton Keith, or Cody Johnson, for instance. A number of artists that I could sit here and name, um, that are just real and raw, and like authenticity anymore is that's the name of the game. You know, you don't have to be the guy, the best looking dude with like the perfect figure or whatever, and you know I feel like a lot of times you had to fit maybe into a box in previous years, but now with everything being so accessible, you just got to be yourself. And if you're yourself, and hopefully your music reaches people, um which is why social media is so important. um if your music reaches people and you're real, they're probably going to gravitate towards you. It may not be their taste in music, and that's totally fine. But as long as you're like honest with someone and you're not trying to like be something you're not, or you know, uh, just be just I found that just being me is the best thing I can do, because I never have to remember what I said or what I did, like 5 weeks ago on another podcast or whatever. Dude, I'm just like myself, and people are gonna gravitate towards it, or they're not, or if they kind of like it, then great. Maybe there'll be one song that they love, and another song that they're not crazy about. I mean, that happens all the time. But for like my album, you were talking about like you never really use music for therapy, but my album is called Country
country
Therapy,
therapy.
and the idea really is not necessarily the music, but it's kind of just about like you know doing something you love and getting off your phone and off of your TV or whatever. um, but it is therapeutic. Music is therapeutic. Think about how many people just, if they get their heart broken, they turn on a song that breaks their heart even more, or like tries to make them feel better. Or if you're in love, man, you listen to love songs. And this particular album that I'm talking about, Country Therapy, is an album that, like, there's a song on this album for every single kind of country music fan. If you like, the more modern stuff, you could probably find a song on there that you like. But if you like the real traditional stuff, man, we absolutely got that too. Um, but whenever I am getting into a project, I'm not necessarily like. Sometimes people ask if you have like a concept in mind, and I guess I really didn't have a concept. I just kind of picked the best songs, and that they came out the way that they did, which I'm very proud of. But I have, like we were talking about earlier, I just have so many different influences, and like I have so many likes, like my own desires. Like I want to say this, or I want to sound like this. And as an artist, just being an authentic artist, I think you have to like you have to just record music that you believe in and that you like, and that you can go up and sing every night because you're the one that has to do that. Um, and so this album for me is every single one of these songs, though I didn't write all the songs, that's totally fine with me. They're great, great songs. And I connect with every single one of them. Uh, and I can get up there on stage and I can sing those songs with conviction because I believe in the songs and I believe in what they're saying. And, for me, that's therapeutic in a sense, that I can just be me. I don't have to go up there and pretend to be somebody I'm not. Um, and that's, hopefully that showcases in the songs and in the production too. I owe a ton of credit to, I owe all the credit of production to my producer, Brandon Hood. And the guy that's mixing the album, Seth Morton. We've had another guy named Drew Bowman. Everybody's in Nashville. All the players on the album, man. It's like, dude, I'm just the guy that's singing the words on the paper. Everything else is all these incredible musicians and people that are really like experts in their field. So shout out to Brandon Hood. If you're if you're watching this, he's a great guy, and I love working with him.
Yeah, your your albums do sound fantastic. They
Thank
definitely it's it's it, I was doing the promo before that. I was like, if you like polished mixes, it don't get any better than this. Like you said with like uh, Braxton Keith and all those other guys. It's definitely up in that league where you
Yeah,
know it's that's why I always like it when I tell people when man they'll hear something and they'll just be like, well, it ain't like this, and I guess like
sure.
they're like stuck in the old school. I'm like, and I feel bad for them because like once Willie's gone, what are you gonna listen to? Like you're gonna have no new artists because I've been there. I've been that guy where I just like pigeonholed myself. I'm like, here's my playlist. I downloaded all the great music in the world. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm not. Everything else is not for me. And I hear songs like yours, and I hear like songs like those guys, like Randall King, and I'm like, man, if you love that era, and there's some torch passing of like here, and it's a continuage of that sound and that feeling of people grew up loving it are now giving it to the next generation. That's like you covered the fireman, Braxton covered the chair, and
yeah,
I just did a comparison just for fun, just to hear the difference. And the comments, I'm like, oh my god, I hope he didn't like if he read them and thought like I'm okay with it because I didn't want to like, go in there and start being like, come on, man, like this is it's a I had never heard that song before. And I heard him sing it and I was like, wow, that's a fantastic song. And it got
yep,
me to go back to listen to George Strait. And that's
yeah,
I believe that's a great thing. Cause I listened to the fireman and I was like, man, I was like, I know this song. I because I did the Who is the King of Country, and that's the song that Steve was like, you gotta check this out. And
okay,
I loved the lyrics to it. I love like the cleverness of it, and I really liked how it is. It's fun, it makes you smile, and I
yeah,
love your cover of it. And when I was listening to it, I was like, man, I wonder if like if did you ever get any like backlash from that? Because it's so weird how people just they deem it like untouchable, and I think because people that are fans of you may not it's impossible to listen to all music, even George Strait. George Strait
right.
has so much music, and to hear your take on it, it's I think the power of the cover song is awesome. We get to hear your interpretation of something that you love, and it also reignites the fire of the original.
Yeah, man, playing covers is like it's honestly like one of my favorite things to do at live shows because everybody knows the song. You
Yeah.
know, like probably the vast majority of people, um, maybe they know like one or two of your songs. Like they're coming to hear you play like Tornado in my case. They're coming to hear
Yeah.
Tornado. Um, and maybe a couple others. But I got to play for an hour and a half, dude, or you know, so I can't make Tornado an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
Um, so man, we play covers and dude, I unapologetically play covers, and I love playing covers. And some people will come up to me, they're like, "Hey, man, you need to play less covers." Matter of fact, somebody came up to me this weekend. I was like, "Hey, we want to hear your songs." I'm like, "Man, I really appreciate that." Um, but there's a lot of people that want to hear stuff that they know. And that particular song, "The Fireman," is something that I, kind of grew up listening to, and uh, we we needed something that was really upbeat and fast. And "The Chair," is absolutely. I cover that one often because I just love that song. It's so well written, and it's like one of the greatest songs in my opinion that's ever been written because it is so clever. But "The Fireman," uh, I was a little apprehensive about doing it. Um, the idea to cut that song was actually one of my buddies, Josh Dell, who's on my management company, and he's like, "Man, you should cover The Fireman." I was like, "Oh, okay. Uh, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about putting a straight song on my album." And then, and then we got into the studio, and it was challenging for me to put myself in a headspace where it sounds a lot different, you know. But the guy that was playing piano, Gordon Moat, who's a Hall of Fame musician and a producer in his own right, and he's just an incredible player and an incredible person. Um, he was in the booth right next to me playing piano, and he was like, "Man, this is a great, great cover, and George is really gonna like this." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "All right, if it's got Gordon's stamp of approval and Gordon says George is gonna love it, I'm gonna trust Gordon because he's been around." Um, and then the response that we've gotten from that song has also been pretty great. Whenever you crack off into "The Fireman" at a show, it is so upbeat and so fun, and everybody knows it, everybody loves it. It's like, okay, this makes total sense. That this is exactly why we cut this song so that we can go out here, we can play this. Um, and you're right. There are some people that are gonna be like, "Oh, well, it's not George." You know, it's like, dude, I'm not trying to be George. I'm, if I was trying to be George, I'd, come up with a George Strait tribute band. But I'm just trying to do my own thing and put my own spin on classics that I grew up listening to, that I love, and I know that you love. So you always get those kind of people, and dude, it's impossible to please everybody, and
Yeah.
so uh, you just don't even try to do that, and you wind up happy with the product. If you're sitting always trying to please everyone, then you'll never do it. But an album is 10, 12, 15 songs. In Morgan Wallen's case, or Zach Bryan's case, it's 30 songs.
Yeah.
But I can't write that many songs, and I can't afford to record that many songs in one sitting. But you know, at least with this album, Country Therapy, it feels like we checked every box in the country music genre and subgenres. Um, so there's going to be something on this album that you like, um, and you may not like 11 songs, but you're going to like the 12th one. and that's okay. It's totally fine with me. um, I just record music that I love.
Yeah. That's that's a great way to do it. It, it, chase your love of music over success and acceptance, and you know, the, the people that come along with you will be more loving and more organic, and they'll know you. You
Yeah,
you'll want to hang out with your fans. I'd see
Right.
some, I see some people, they, it's very easy to write a song that'll hit the radio and hit, and it's the people that know you just from that. I feel like they're not the ones that you're gonna have the heart to hearts at the merch booth where
Right.
people were telling like the stories, the profound moments that your songs have, you know, helped them through, or even helped them see a certain way to find, find a way out of the darkness they were feeling. And yeah, it's like you said, it's just like just be yourself because you say, like it's easier. It's so much easier of
Yeah.
just being authentic because it, everything's recorded now. If you say one
Yeah,
thing and then you
man.
turn around, you're like, oh,
Yeah. Get yourself in trouble real quick.
yeah, I forgot, I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah,
But
I got a message from I get every once in a while I'll get like a story or like a message from somebody, or they'll come up to the merch table and they'll tell me about something. And but I got a message from someone um that they came out to the show on Friday in Fort Worth, and my song Denver to Dallas was like exactly their love story. And this guy Jason, coincidentally last name Williams, no relation, Jason Williams, and his wife Blake have now they just celebrated their 10th anniversary. And anyway, they came out to the show, and stories like that are things that just kind of make it all worth it. It's like, oh wow, what a coincidence. Because whenever we wrote Denver to Dallas, we weren't it wasn't coming from like a personal experience or anything, but um, it was a song that it was kind of a story. You're telling a story,
yeah,
uh, much like The Chair or some of those older country songs you know that we love. But I'll get messages like that and stories like that, and it just makes me look back for a second, and go, okay, this is why I do what I do, you know, because I can connect with people on a little bit deeper level.
yeah, oh, absolutely. And you get to like connect over and over again because once that's to be able to have that feeling, and it's just as soon as you find it and it's just always just right there. That's also cool too because you can have a profound, like a very deep conversation with just a random person at the bar and be like
Yeah.
that was it, that was your single serving of putting a band-aid
Yeah.
on your heartache. But
Yeah.
when you're that guy, and it's timeless to be able to.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I do find like the power that you know you you don't know you have it until you get out and you start singing and people coming up to you, and it's just like it has to be a very just a, a soul changing kind of moment where you may have been frustrated, or like how things are going in the
Right.
studio, and the work you put into it, and artists are artists. You might listen to a song and be like, man, I really wish I did that, I really wish I would have said that, and then somebody comes up to you and just says, that is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And it's
Yeah.
it's nice because it's very hard to get out of your head of
Dude,
listen.
you are not kidding. It's like it's such a struggle. I mean, you're a musician. You know how you know how it is, man. It's like you're constantly doubting yourself. You're always your own worst critic. And
Yeah,
you know, it's people come up to me all the time. They're like, "Man, love what you're doing. You know, don't stop doing it. Like, don't quit." And look, quitting. I'm not a quitter, but this is a tough business. And I've certainly had moments where I'm like, man, what am I doing? And like, is this even worth the trouble? Is this even worth the time and the miles and the money? And Is it worth it? And then, you know, you get somebody that comes up to you and you're like, dude, this song, I love this song. It's my favorite song. Don't quit. Keep going. And that's like, you keep going because of people like that. You know, you keep your chin up, or in some cases you keep your head down and you just keep on working. And you know, it eventually it all comes together. I'm kind of still waiting for it all to come together
Yeah.
at this point, but it does feel like things are coming together. You know, you put in a lot of time and a lot of hard work, and you have those moments where it feels right, it feels good, you know. And that's really in like anything. That's in like learning a new song. It's like, oh, I get it, I got it, great. Um, or dude, maybe that's playing a venue that you want to play, which um, we've certainly done a lot of, and we have a lot more to do. But again, like just being authentic and real and having that one-to-one connection with people, with your fans, who become friends. There's people that have come to like over 30 of my shows that continue to show up time and time again, and it's like, man, y'all are not tired of me yet. And they come to the merch table every time, and we catch up for a few minutes, and then we'll see them at the next one. But that one-to-one connection, man, really makes a huge difference in why we do what we do, and how we go from one place to another and continue to keep going. Because it's
Yeah.
tough. It's real tough.
Yeah. Yeah. The economically on the side, the just getting there half the time, like, God, it's like it's- I don't understand why trailer tires are just as fragile as they are. If whatever you're telling, it's just like
Yeah.
it's always something, and time away from family, and man, but like you said, when you have somebody come up and just generally tell you that it's impactful for their life, it's got to be fulfilling, because money can't buy that feeling. And,
Yeah.
and just to see the look on somebody's face of when they know you through music. Like I'm not a singer, but just this weekend, someone just shaking my hand at a party and just looking at me. He's like, man, you play guitar, right? I said, yeah. He's like, I've seen you play. And
Mm.
I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah. And he's like, how do you play like that? I'm like, I just practice,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's when all my other friends were out partying and doing whatnot, I was sitting at home going just
Mhm.
over and over again. And what's wild is like now, like I have all these connections in music, and all my friends, like they're like done, they're retired. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I miss it. I get it, families, kids, but like I don't have any of that. Man, the stand on a stage and just to see, because people are like, don't you get nervous when it's a
Yeah.
big crowd? I'm like, no, the energy, that is what I'm there. I'm nervous when it's three people,
Yeah.
because they're all going to be musicians. They're all going to have their arms like this, and they're all going to judge.
Yeah, man.
That's what it
Dude,
seems to be.
I
But
had this exact same conversation this morning on another podcast. They're like, do you ever get nervous? I'm like, no, man. I mean, I don't. I've never really gotten nervous, but I will say playing in front of fewer people is a lot more nerve wracking than playing for a lot of people.
yeah,
Because you're exactly right. You've always got that one guy. That one guy. I always look in the crowd and I'll find the one guy. Maybe he's got a cowboy hat on, maybe he doesn't, but he's always like this. If I
yeah,
if I can get that guy, it's always my mission. If I see a guy like that at a show, if I can get that guy on the dance floor, then I played a good show. If I can get him singing along, I played a good show. because it's always this guy.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great if someone shows up like that with a shirt made. I'm the guy.
I'm that guy.
I'm that guy. I'm gonna look at them fingers.
Yep.
You're playing sharp. You're playing flat. It's like sometimes it's as a music, it's you just do it unknowingly, and you're just like, oh man, because
Yeah.
you just like I'm a big fan. Unless if you have a drummer or a bass player that just rocks, I'll be like looking at the drummer. But man, a guitar player, I want to see, because a lot of people play the same chords really differently in
Oh
country,
yeah.
and I really love, because a lot of people say like, oh, it's three chords in the truth and whatnot, but the people will play those chords very differently, and
Right.
you can play a C, you can play G, all kinds of crazy different way, and especially if like, man, if people know how to play like the cage system and make it just sound so different. That's what I've always, because I've always done like the dun 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 dun,
Right.
and to hear
Yeah.
the single notes, it's really cool to watch and listen, and to hear, because basically like they are all the same chords for the most part, unless whatever key you're playing in, but you can play it so wildly and so different, and everybody has their own take on it, which I
Yeah.
found I loved. And I also love when like a country guy will become like a tambourine on the guitar, just banging out chords, but like
Yeah.
playing really really fast, and it becomes like almost like he's on like a in key cajon box. And
Yeah.
I've never really seen that happen, and it's been really cool to see just how it doesn't sound like there's a lot going on with country music.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you listen to like your stuff, like you got the steel, you got the fiddle, and you got the guitar, you got the bass, and it's just all like just weaved together, and it's been very cool to have my ears pulled on in different ways. And
Yeah.
then there comes your voice, and that's a whole nother thing where you're
Mm.
like, oh my god, there's so much going on, and it's just I've really enjoyed of just hearing just really pretty sounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I definitely enjoy what people are like you were doing it. And I'm glad because your album was what, uh from what, August?
August 29th. Yeah. The end of August. End of August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're already, you said December 5th, deluxe album.
December 5th, we've got a deluxe album coming out. Which by the time this gets out, I'm not sure if it's going to be announced, but hey, exclusive right here on Country versus Metal. We got a deluxe version of Country Therapy coming out December 5th. But yeah, man, we'll have that coming out. And then we've also done, we've cut another song that I'm really, really excited about. But it won't come out till next year.
Okay.
That's also exclusive information. Nobody knows about that yet, but,
I
but,
like
uh,
exclusive.
but yeah, man, no, it's good. It's really good. And to kind of like resonate with what you're saying, country music, especially like the kind of country music that you're referencing, is, there's musically, it is so beautiful. It is so pretty because everybody's not just playing on top of one another. You've got these musicians in the studio that are, like you said, kind of weaving that web all the way throughout that song, and everybody's playing their little pocket. It's like right after you finish a line, there's like a little bit of a guitar lick, or maybe there's like a little fiddle thing that happens. And the turnaround and the intro and the outro, and like everybody's doing their thing, but at no point does it ever feel like anybody's drowning, like one thing is drowning out another thing. And that's what I think is so beautiful about country music, is that, everybody's got this opportunity to showcase their instrument, or even lyrically, you know, nobody plays over the top of the lyrics. You know, the lyrics are the song. And so that's what I love about it, because if you can have a really, really well written song and a really solid cast of musicians that know how to put together an arrangement, it can be really special. And that's kind of how I feel about, you know, making music in general. It's like the song, you know, always, like, the song has to be, it has to be a great song. Everything else, everything else will take, you know, be taken in stride. But if you start with a great song, it it's going to come out even greater. As long as you don't have somebody in there screwing things up.
Yeah.
If I can tell you right now, if I was playing on the album, for sure it would be screwed up. But you know, if you've got good players and a good producer and all that kind of stuff, then you can take a great song and make it amazing. You can really make it special. And I'm losing light because I'm sitting on my front porch and it's getting dark earlier. So is it okay if I just move into a?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. I don't want to like screw up
No, it's
our
fine.
podcast thing. I'm just gonna move to a maybe inside where I can get some light on this thing.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's the time of year where man, especially up here in the Northeast. You got anything to do outside, you have to see. You got to do it as soon as you get home.
Yeah, I imagine. Let's see. Maybe I'll come over here by my dining table. How's this? That's better, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lamp on, so I'm gonna use that light. There we go. Perfect.
All right, we're in it.
Awesome. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all right. You know, I kind of forgot about, it gets dark early.
I know.
Time zones still melt my head. I'll be running around at 5, like, oh, I gotta get on. I'm like, no, it's 6 here.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten used to it. But yeah, you also wanted to talk about the NFR rodeo.
Yeah, man. We're gonna be again in Las Vegas, Nevada for the National Finals Rodeo. One of my absolute favorite events every year. And we're going to be playing out there the 7th and the 10th. We're going to be playing at Rodeo Vegas at Resorts World on the 7th. And then we're also going to be playing at Westgate on the 10th. And I'm also doing a giveaway right now, a free trip to Vegas to the NFR. So anybody that's watching this, it's something like no strings attached, no catch, literally just, you're going to get $1,000 for airfare and expenses. You're going to get a 2-night stay at the Westgate, 2 tickets to the rodeo, which are very hard to come by. And then like a VIP experience with me at our show at the Westgate on the 10th. And then a couple surprises in there that we can't, publicly put out there, but a couple things that we're, going to kind of sweeten the deal with. But anybody watching can go to my website, wynnwilliamsmusic.com, WYNN, wynnwilliamsmusic.com. There's a little banner there on the website. You can click on that and it'll take you to the entry. And like I said, man, no strings attached. It's just something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And I've now got some really good sponsors, and the American Quarter Horse Association partnered with us on this to make this happen, which is, again, something I wanted to do for a long time. And anyway, that's what we're going to do. And two lucky people are going to get to come hang out with us and get a free trip to Vegas.
Nice. That sounds great. You used the rodeo, right?
I did. Yeah. I rodeoed in high school and college. I was a steer wrestler, a bulldogger, as some people would call it. But most people know it as steer wrestling.
I got you. And your song "Tornado" is a song written in the point of view of an old rodeo horse, right? Did I read that
Yeah,
right?
an old bucking horse. Yep, yep. We whenever I was writing for that album, man, I wanted to write, a cowboy song, and I figured it had been done so many different ways about the cowboy, and we thought, oh well, we'll just change the point of view, and we'll write it from the perspective of a bucking horse. And fortunately, that's been a big song of mine. It's been my biggest song, and a lot of people have resonated towards that one, and it's been cool to watch, man, because like even though I've been doing this now for 10 years, like there's still people that have never heard that song before. Um, so it's always fun to like, man, I heard this song Tornado, like I came across on my playlist or whatever, and I love that song. It's like going back to those stories, or just people kind of keeping you going and keeping your head up. But um, yeah, we wrote that one about a bucking horse, and every once in a while I'll miss it a little bit, but once I actually show up to the rodeo, I'm glad that I'm standing on stage instead of backing into a box to go run a steer.
Yeah.
uh, but I've got some good buddies actually that qualified for the NFR this year, and they did last year too. My buddy Justin Schaefer, he's a pro professional cowboy, and he made the NFR. And another one of his buddies, Tucker Allen, his horse, Justin's horse, actually just won Bulldog and Horse of the Year, AQHA Bulldog and Horse of the Year. So Justin's rocking and rolling. I'm proud for him and happy for him because he and I high school rodeoed at the same time. So to see him having success on the rodeo side, and to see my success on the music side, as our careers have gone on, has been just cool to watch. Like you again, you just put in the time and you put in the work, and eventually it all comes together. You just got to keep going. And so I'm excited to be out there and cheer Justin on, and Tucker and all the guys out there. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's cool that you know guys in there. Now, like, do they do like walkout songs? Has anybody used one of your songs for? I don't even know if they do that.
No. Every once in a while there'll be a cowboy that has like a signature song. Like Cody Ole, he's a world champion calf roper. He always had that. I think it was Kid Rock. It's like cowboy, cow.
Okay. Yeah.
That was always whenever he backed into the box. They always played that. There have been some guys that have like a signature song. But man, a lot of times it's up to the guy that's in charge of the music at the rodeo, and sometimes that changes. Sometimes that changes every year. It just depends on like who gets voted in to do each of the jobs, so to speak. There's two announcers. I think there's two announcers. There's a music director and judges and all this kind of stuff, and they all have to kind of be voted in. My buddy Garrett Yerrigan, I think, he might be involved. Another one of my buddies, Anthony Lucia, he's going to be announcing the NFR this year. And anyway, you just kind of have to like get voted in, and it's a little bit like an award show of some kind. But again, it's like everything. You're working hard, and everything comes to this pinnacle point where it's like, okay, that's why I've been working so hard, so I can get to this point. So it's just cool to see all that come together at the end of the year. Those guys work so hard. The Cowboys, the Cowgirls, all the production guys on the rodeo side, the stock contractors, all that kind of stuff. It's fun, man. Coming from a rodeo background, I think I pull from a lot of those a lot of that time rodeoing, because 9 times out of 10, it ain't going to go your way. And you just got to pack it up and head to the next one. So a lot of, music is definitely that way. And 99 times out of 100, it ain't going to go your way. But you just keep on going to the next one. But man, you should go out to the NFR sometime. I feel like you would eat it up. Especially now that you've gotten into this country music scene, and like you're starting to really, embrace it. Dude, Las Vegas turns Texas, turns Cowboy, turns Fort Worth, for 10 days.
Nice.
And it is so much fun. And I think you would really enjoy it. If you have the opportunity sometime to go out to NFR, you should absolutely take advantage of it, because it is, you would just love it. I just know you would love it.
Yeah, I love how entwined the whole scene, or the whole culture of the musical, and with the Cowboys and everything, that how they're there doing their gigs, and you guys are out there doing gigs, so you can just have like a cool, like, immersive dive in the culture.
Yeah.
Where else is like something like focused on that, where you used to be called Music City, but you're not going to get really any of the culture down there. But yeah, I think I've been to the rodeo like twice, but I just remember being like, I wish I would have brought something to sit on, because it's just that like rough, ragged.
Yeah, you're in the bleachers.
Wood seat, yeah, man. But I was a kid. I liked when they did the poker and just sat there and waited.
Oh yeah.
I was like, man,
yeah,
that's wild. Because man, they're so big, they're so strong, those animals, and it's yeah. But other than that, like I've never really, going to like Fort Worth, and I just remember people were like, check that out. And I was like, oh, they're Texas Longhorns. I've seen them. I was like, we actually have them out in PA. I don't know why, because like I don't. They're just hanging out.
They're just there.
Yeah. It was this one farm. It just had like, I guess here we call them exotic kind of bulls, and I remember, I guess it was bison or buffalo. I don't know. It just was big, and then like. I never knew they lived. Like I used to love eating bison burgers, and I found out they lived to 100, and I felt terrible. I'm like eating a millennial, like a being that has seen so much stuff. I mean, not a lot from his field, but it's like eating it's great grandmother. Like I just remember my great grandmother, when she woke up out of her one surgery, she was just like, oh, we're like, come on, what's up? And she's like, I was like, man, what's going on? She's like, I was alive when Wyatt Earp was alive. I've seen enough. And I'm like, whoa, really? She goes, I remember his funeral. I was like, dude, maybe you are right. I was like, that's a long time. But yeah, and probably in the way Vegas does the extravagance and stuff, that it probably is a very, very fun time, because they with the sounds and the visuals, that was the one thing that I went to Vegas once, and that was the visual, and just your brain is just constantly just overheating.
Oh
with all the sounds, the lights, the buildings,
right?
But yeah, that's cool that it becomes like
that. And every casino has, like, I say everyone, almost everyone. Each casino or hotel will like host an event. So like maybe MGM has calf ropers, and maybe Circa has the steel wrestlers, and vice versa, whatever. Mandalay Bay has the bareback riders. And so like each one of these hotels that are hosting these cowboys and cowgirls, they all have like watch parties, and so they'll live stream, in like their theater or wherever in the hotel, or a conference room or something that's huge, obviously, because it's Vegas. Everything's big, but they'll have like a watch party, and then generally they'll have a concert afterwards. So like no matter where you go, man, you're gonna get some live music. And it's just so, dude, it is so much fun. I'm excited to get back out there this year. But you would love it, man. You should do it sometime. You should absolutely do it.
I'll have to check it out because Vegas, it was very easy to get out there. A 5.5 hour flight. It wasn't that bad. I should have flown a different airline because yeah, I was just like, it's like the Walmart of the skies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm 6'1", but my God, I was like eating my knees. But to get out there,
Oh,
it's it's definitely easy to do and then stay. I'll have to look into that because I do like festivals where and stuff like that where you're
yeah.
not in like. Also, this I do like when it's like at one place, but I do like seeing other things, especially Vegas, because
Right.
there's
Groundhog
the
Day every day, dude.
yeah, and their hotels they have personalities and
Yeah.
their themes. It's just really cool to go to one, experience that, and you go to another one, and like you go to the Luxor, and it's a wild time. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, we're coming up on an hour. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Man, just encourage people to go check out the record. The deluxe album comes out on December 5th. We've got a bunch of stuff happening, a lot of stuff we're looking forward to next year as well. So go check it out on the website, wynnwilliamsmusic.com, and come out to a show sometime. Hang out with us at the merch table and just come enjoy some solid country music.
Hell yeah, and yeah, I can attest that your stage presence. People are gonna remember your name when when
Wow.
you when you say
Yeah.
it.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a
We're
great
trying.
time. That because like I didn't know who you were, and I was like, oh damn, 'cause the room got quiet, and a bunch of people were like, who is that? And I was like, yeah, yeah, that's Wynn Williams because that like I always said like it's so hard to kind of like remember faces and
Right.
everything. I can remember names, but it's a lot. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was a great. If people had never heard your music before, that was a great introduction. And like you said, they should definitely, if they like country music with that sound, it is 100% up their alley, and it's it's great. I really think you're making great songs, and the mixes are phenomenal. And
Well, thank you.
I definitely think like people that miss that era, I've that has always been like kind of one of my core missions of these people that you know they don't have any heroes anymore. There's people like you that are doing stuff like that right now, and you can be a part of it. And I hope people find that in you and get to relive another great moment of the music
Yeah.
this is the stuff I grew up with. These people are gone, but here's an incredible artist just doing it, and it'd be really cool for those people that feel like they lost a part of that in their lives to notice that and gain that back, which has always been like a frustration when they just need to be put in front of it and just go
Yeah.
like, oh, you know,
There it is.
yeah, yeah,
There it
like
is. It was here the whole time.
yeah, exactly. And getting that to people, it can be an issue, which I know is like when sometimes I'll have people listen to like my buddy was like, man, I miss old this, that, and this. I let him listen to one Randall King song. He went and bought and downloaded every single
Oh,
album
good.
of his, And
That's good.
he'll stop me from time to time and be like, "Hey, dude, thank you." He goes, I have a new passion, and I'm going to tell him about you. You know, and be like,
Oh,
"Hey, you know," because that's what he was missing. That's what he needed. And because he was like, I didn't know they were still making stuff like that without like the buzzwords and I don't even say traditional, just what they're doing, the formula. They know what works and the structure and put it in, and out comes this soulless product that is going to sell. And it's great that there's the soul's there. And I think people are starting to find like, hey man, let's go back to where it was good. It was authentic, and it had a message, and it had an independence, and it had its own characteristics, and it's good, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I
Well,
hope people.
there's a lot of guys out there doing it, man. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, like we mentioned a few earlier, and you just mentioned Randall again, but um, there's a lot of guys that are playing, this kind of music. And I guess since we're on the topic of Randall on the Country Therapy Deluxe album, he wrote this song here for the beer,
oh,
and we're actually going to be putting out a duet of Here for the Beer, um, on the deluxe version. So folks can look forward to that one. And your buddy, if he listens to Randall, it'll hopefully it'll pop up on his thing too. But yeah, man, it feels like a really good time for you know authentic country music. Um, and there's a lot of great records being made right now, especially with this sound. Um, so it's an exciting time for sure.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, especially for the people that you know that it's not on their radar, and
Yeah,
I'm glad people are starting to find out that that an era of a time that they lived through and loved, they can still have these moments right now, and
yeah,
catch you at a show, and get the connectivity part of music as well, because the stuff they used to listen to, like, they're not touring anymore, and it just give them that part of their life back.
yeah, yeah. And also, get that, again, one-on-one connection. If they come out to the show, they can come up to the merch table and say hello. Or I run all my own social media too, so like if anybody sends me a message, I was telling you about that story I got from Jason that was telling me about Denver to Dallas. And people send me messages all the time. um, but and I read all of them. I see them all and I read them all, and I try to respond to everybody that I can. So that's in a lot of cases the cooler part of what we do is getting to meet great people. And being on stage is cool and fun. But I always like just meeting people. And
Yeah,
it's taken me, playing music, being on stage has taken me around the world. I've been able to play in various countries, and I've been over to Europe several times to play over there. And the people are just my favorite, uh, because they make you feel like what you're doing is the right thing. And so, you know, feel free to send me a message if you're watching, or if you've listened to my song, if you have any questions. I'm always willing to read the message and respond to it, um, which maybe one day I won't be able to do. So I get to do that now, and
yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
yeah. That's cool to know as well, that the people actually be respond. I think talking to you, which it's hard. It's hard because I do the same thing, and man, I miss so much. It's just you
Yeah,
can't keep up with it. But when you talk to somebody and they tell you things and appreciate it, being appreciated. My God, dude, like nowadays, like I just, it's a nice
Yeah.
feeling. It's good to be around good people, and I don't know. I found that has been as great as well because
Mhm.
people just think you're on TikTok, just listening to music and talking about it, and I'm like, there's a deeper level to it where like not
Yeah.
only am I listening to the music, I'm talking to the artist, I'm talking to the fans, and it's been it's a cool experience of just the connectivity of
Mhm.
music between us all. Like we're all wired to like the 12 notes in a certain sequence. We don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just it's really cool how that works. Of it, like you may not know theory, but you know it deep down,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's when the science of it, and it's very very communal, and it's it's been fun. Of
Yeah.
and being accepted of I didn't know who any of these people were, and I still a ton of songs I haven't heard that I'm gonna hear, and
Yeah. Well,
and
man, we appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate you having me on the show, of course, and looking forward to seeing you again somewhere down the road. I'm not
yeah,
sure if you only get to Texas once a year, but
yeah,
uh,
I need to up.
maybe we'll get up to Delaware. I'm not sure. I would really love to come and play the East Coast this next year, but I'm not sure what the booking agent has lined out for us this year, just or this next year just yet. But yeah, man, I would love to get together next time you're in town, or even if you're just coming down, for not an event. If you're just coming down to visit,
Hell yeah,
love
man. Yeah, I need to
love to
up
get
my
together and
yeah.
and
I need
hang.
yeah. I think I would love that. There's just no running around. But yeah, I need to up my Texas numbers because it's very easy. It, it it's less than 3 hours, and
Yeah,
there's no excuse other than time off
yeah,
work, which could be an issue. But yeah, I'll definitely, if I do come down, I'm definitely gonna try to reach out and hang out and
yeah.
catch a show, catch a full band.
Perfect, perfect.
So yeah, man. I'm like, I have this gnat flying. But yeah, dude, thanks for hopping on. I
Yeah,
re-
man. Anytime. Thank you so much for listening to my music and giving me an opportunity to chat.
yeah, man, dude, definitely enjoyed it. And if you ever need anything, just hit me up. I'm always available to help anybody out. So
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate that very much.
yeah,
But
so feel free.
but man, if you ever need anything from us, for whatever, don't like I said, shoot me a message. I can you can get my phone number from Steve. I'll let him share my phone number with you.
Okay.
But no, man, it's cool. It's cool to connect with guys like yourself that um, haven't always listened to country music, but now you're eating it up. So
Yeah,
thanks for listening.
definitely, dude. Thank you. You do the hard part. I just consume it. Just listen. But yeah, I appreciate what you do as well.
Thank you.
So, all right, man. Well, good talking to you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise. We'll have to do it again on whenever the next album rolls around.
Yeah, dude, definitely. 100%.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I am getting some notices here about low battery on my phone. Low
Yeah, yeah.
device storage. Device
Yeah,
storage is running low. You should stop recording.
yeah, that's what I saw. So,
Oh,
that's
it
cool.
it pops up on your screen too?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, it's all right. It's just a warning. But yeah, man, we can just end it here.
Right on.
That's
Well,
great
dude,
talking to you.
have a good night, and thank you so much again for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. So, I'll talk to you.
All right, later.
See you, man.